Now let's talk about some of these other cats out here from the national perspective of what they think about your team, right? This is the guy, I don't know the man's name, but he hangs out with Kyle and Cowherd, and he's his co-host or whatever the man's name is. But listen to what this man had to say about your black and gold and where they rank them at.
I'd like to remind everybody, yesterday we did the AFC tiers, and it was wild because there was universal agreement. Everybody agreed with every single one of the teams that I had in the tiers, and the AFC is pretty stacked, so it was kind of top heavy. The NFC, which we'll do right now, not as great news. So we'll start with tier 4 in the NFC, the worst teams, and it is a crowded house. Look at all these struggling franchises. We'll start with the Arizona Cardinals, who are widely perceived to be the worst team in the NFL this year. The Kyler Murray injury compounding matters. I know TJ Houshmandzadeh was here yesterday hyping their young receiver, Michael Wilson, out of Stanford. Folks, I don't know who he's going to be catching passes from. We don't even know who the Arizona starter is going to be week 1. Will Kyler Murray return by week 6? Like, Arizona is in bad shape. Now, some will be surprised to see the Rams here. Not so much if you saw the show a couple weeks ago where I had one of my hotter summer takes that Aaron Donald, their best/only defensive player, could be on the move by the trade deadline if the Rams are as bad as I think they will be. I think they're closer to being in the Caleb Williams mix than being in the playoff mix. This team is just too offensively driven without an offensive line. I like Stafford a lot, but I don't think highly of the Rams. After that, listen, you look at the rest of tier 4, and it is just not very good. Like, the Rams, you could make a case for a 4 or 5 win team. Washington, ugh, new owner, hooray, Sam Howell. We don't know nothing. We know less about Sam Howell than we do about Jordan Love. Eric Bieniemy is the offensive coordinator. Ron Rivera's on his way out. Washington's not going to be great. They somehow won 8 games last year. I don't know how they did it. Carolina with Bryce Young. Cowherd keeps trying to talk me into Carolina. It's like that movie Mean Girls, where the girl keeps saying fetch, and her friend stops her and is like, stop trying to make fetch happen. Like, Colin, stop trying to make Bryce Young and Carolina happen. It ain't happening this year. This is like a 5 or 6 win team, maybe. And then I think next offseason they go big game hunting for some free agents to put around Bryce and bolster a bad Carolina team. Chicago, this is a team. Now, if we had done the bubble, some people do the bubble. We opted for tiers. The Bears would have been between 3 and 4. I think kind of highly of Chicago. I can't put a finger on it other than immense spending and a modicum of belief in Justin Fields emerging. Matt Eberflus year 2. I just think some continuity for the Bears is good. Packers, Jordan Love, we just covered them. Not a big fan. And finally, Tampa Bay. Baker Mayfield's a starter. Fire sale by Halloween. Tampa is bad. Tier 3 in the NFC. Reluctantly have the Giants here. I have them down. Not good. Coming off the playoff appearance, I have the Giants in tier 3, followed by the Minnesota Vikings, who also, I do believe, tumble a little bit. They're like the Rams, but their offense is like the Rams, on some very heavy drugs, because they will be able to score a lot of points this year. I think that offense will do well. The Jordan Addison addition from USC is a nice player. They did lose Dalvin Cook. The defense is just abysmal. Brian Flores has nothing to work with in Minnesota. So I think they dropped down to tier 3. Seattle Seahawks fans, don't be upset. Potential is there for tier 2. Just have some questions about Geno Smith doubling up what he did last year. I love the draft pick of Jackson Smith-Njigba. And finally, in the surprise of tier 3, the Atlanta Falcons. I told you guys, I bet their season win total over. It's a schedule thing. Look into it and get back to me. Falcons round out tier 3. Up in tier 2, we've got the not quite contenders, but like the next group down, the Dallas Cowboys, who, again, I don't think they're a legit contender. We'll see. I think their future is very murky, as we talked about last hour. New Orleans Saints are my sleeper in the NFC. Yes, I'm backing up the Brinks for Derek Carr and Dennis Allen. Feel free to criticize that. Even I have reservations, but defensively it'll be good. I like the offensive pieces. It all comes down to Carr if he can deliver. And finally, the Detroit Lions.
That's enough of that. So as you can hear, or see rather, which is really cool, we got Carolina in tier 4, which is the lowest tier. He has Atlanta in tier 3 and the Saints in tier 2. Tampa Bay is also in tier 4 along with Carolina. So you heard what he said, and that's the standing on it. Is the standing is a lot of what we hear from the national media is they're on with the Saints. You're slowly seeing that happen. And I'm not saying that we listen to that, but it's very interesting. I give you, both sides of the spectrum here, what they're saying, what we're saying, what we're hearing, in the Saints world. But it's very interesting, man, to hear the national media talking about the Saints as NFC sleeper, but the New Orleans Saints family members not, and I'm not going to say not all of them, but a great deal of the family members contact me and say, Q, listen, I hear you what you're saying about Carr, yada, 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 but hey, I'm not up on that like that. I'm on my Glenn Jones right now. And I got to respect their mind. You know what I'm saying? How you feel is how you feel. Although I do like the quarterback, getting Carr and what he brings. I do like that. I like that in connection with the Saints, with the Saints have. A much improved running back. I mean, the Jamal Williams, and I keep saying this, but the Jamal Williams signing was unbelievable. It was unreal to get Jamal Williams and pair him with Alvin Kamara. And soon as Kamara comes off suspension, whether it's between 4 to 8 games, whatever the case may be, this is going to be phenomenal. So Dennis is doing this. Hey, man, my name is Dennis. Bennett. My name is Bennett. But listen, the offense, he's like, hey, man, this is all for y'all. Y'all handle it. Let me handle the defense. That could work. That could work. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. That could work. But if he has to step in as a head coach and do head coachy stuff, that's right. I said head coachy. If Dennis Allen has to step in and do head coachy stuff, we might have we might have a problem. Yeah, Houston, we might have